Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I am starting on a big project. This is probably one of the biggest projects I've ever done by myself. As you guys know, we have our first baby due as I'm filming this in about a month. And so we wanted to do something to kind of prepare for that, because I know once he comes, it's going to be a lot less time and a lot less energy. So let me show you guys this project. As you can see, this is our little backyard. It's not very big, and it's not very nice. Basically what we're going to do with this grass is take all of it out and put in an artificial turf grass that looks very real, which I know isn't like the best option, but I can tell you some reasons why. One, like I said, this ground is so tough and hard that and low quality dirt that grass doesn't like to grow here. The other reason is you guys can see how close our house is to our neighbor's house. That means that this yard gets very, very little sunlight, less than 2 hours a day, and that's at like partial sunlight coverage. So there's definitely some work to be done, but basically what I'm going to be doing is kind of raking all this up, putting down some weed and grass killer, tilling all this up, making sure that it's at a good gradient, and regrade it so that the rain runs off well. But then we're going to lay artificial turf down here. First we'll put down a weed barrier, and then we'll probably bring in rock and level, and pound the whole thing down and compact it, with rock as the base layer underneath, and then we will be adding the grass. That is the plan, and we, aka me, are gonna get started. So let's do it. Okay, so that plant is out. It's really strangled by weeds and things that are kind of interwoven within it, so I'm glad I took it out. One thing I found while I was in there, though, another sprinkler head. I looked over here, didn't see one at all. So that thing was covered up by bark dust and the plant as well, so I'm glad I didn't hit it and break it, and I'm glad that I know where it is now. So like I said, I'm going to do some light scraping of some of these areas where the plants are and put in some of this good soil around there, and then I'll work on cleaning some of this stuff out, as well as pulling out some of this mesh stuff. So let's work on that. Okay, well, I think that is pretty good for today. I got a lot of this dirt kind of distributed around here a little bit, and this is by no means the final product. Just trying to get it generally out of the way and distributed so I don't have to do it later. You can see a big pile of this mesh. I know I don't have all of it. There's probably still a lot in this area. Basically anywhere where the ground isn't disturbed, I probably haven't gotten it yet. But the problem is that I need kind of a rake or something in order to start digging this ground up and expose a lot of that. So I should have one of those tomorrow, and that'll help me kind of continue on. All right, day 2, and we got supplies. So we got some weed killer. I've got a regular rake. I have this I believe it's called a bow rake, and it has 2 different sides to it, so I thought that was cool. I have this, which is a tamper. It is a big steel plate for compacting down the ground, and then this is a big roll of weed fabric to prevent the weeds from coming up through, and then I also have some caps for some of the irrigation heads. So that's probably what I'm going to tackle first, is getting some of those sprinkler heads capped off, since that's all underground work. That's where we'll get started, so let's go. Okay, so I just got all of that nasty mesh out from under the yard. You can see my pile of it over here mixed with grass. I'll separate that and then put it in the bins. But now we need to kind of level out the yard and see how we want the final product. So you guys can see the yard slopes this way because this whole street is on a slight hill, so it should slope to drain this way, but then it also needs to drain a little bit that way, and then in the middle drain this way towards me. So I'm just going to catch my breath for a second and then just kind of start moving dirt around to try and create a little high spot in the middle, and then kind of fill in some of these holes that this mesh left. And okay, I think that's all the tampering that my arms can handle for tonight. So I got maybe a little under half the yard done. I basically tried to come up to this plant, this red plant, and it's not too bad. It needs to level out a little more, but I'm happy I created a high spot here where there used to be a low spot, so it should run off instead of pooling here. So that was kind of my main goal. Now I'll kind of pat the rest out tomorrow and see how it goes. But the last thing I want to do tonight is I bought some weed and grass killer, so I'm going to spray that down. I'll probably do a couple times in this project before I go any further. So while I'm tampering and doing other things, I'll spray a few rounds of weed killer and call it a night. So thanks for watching. I will see you on the next day of this project. Hey everyone, day maybe 3 or 4 of working on this. Some quick updates before we get started. I have capped off almost all of the sprinkler heads down this one side, so they are no more. I have also basically patted down the ground and leveled it to where it's in a good spot. And now I'm about to roll out the weed barrier that is going to go down under the yard. So not much more to say. We will just get started. Okay, here it is. You can see I used the edging to help hold down the weed barrier, not in every place, but in most places. And then I had these rubber mats that are just holding the weed barrier down in place until I can start to get gravel and put that down instead. But it might be a couple days before I can get the first load of gravel, and we haven't even ordered the turf yet, so that still has to get here. But yeah, it's coming along good. Hey guys, so I just picked up the first load of sand. I've already done a couple bags, but our street is an alleyway, so I can't really have sand dumped off, or gravel, I mean. Sorry, just got the first load of gravel. Can't really get that dumped off, so I'm just having to buy bags. It's a little more expensive, but this is still within the budget that we had put for this project, so I am going to start hauling bags of gravel. Okay, there is 90 bags of gravel. I know it looks like we still have a long way to cover, which we do, but this will spread out a lot more. I packed them kind of close so I could start on one side and start leveling it all out. So it definitely is going to spread much further, hopefully the whole thing. And if not, I can always go pick up a few more. This is obviously the next day. I had to get one more load the next morning. But yeah, overall, happy with it. And the next step is going to be the hard part, which is cutting it all up, leveling it, pouring it out, leveling it, and doing all of that. So looking forward to that. I think we have about a week or two before the grass even gets here. So I have plenty of time to do this step, make sure I can do it right and everything. So all right, it is time to start spreading some gravel. So I'm gonna see if we can make this quick. Oh man, let's see. I only got like a quarter, third of the way. Well, that wasn't far enough. Let's try this again and see if we can get more done. Oh man, I think it might have worked. Where did my shirt go? I was wearing a different shirt. Let's see. It worked. It's all done. Man, that took a lot less effort. In reality, it is a couple days since I started. As you guys can see, it is fully all the way out to the edge of the yard. It ended up taking 105 bags. So goody, lots of hard work, but lots of good work. So I have tampered it with my trusty tamper that I bought. So it is basically ready for grass. I think we don't even know when it's getting here yet. It probably could still be like even up to 2 weeks. But this will be sitting here ready to go. I don't have to work on it. I can take a break and relax. And then when the grass shows up, install it. So yeah, I'm pretty happy. It actually went a lot quicker than I thought. I didn't film a lot of it because there's only so many time lapses that you guys would want to watch, but it's basically just dumping bags of gravel, raking it out. I bought a bow rake that has 2 sides to it, and this was huge. Instead of having to go back and get a shovel, I could move a lot of gravel with that. So that came in. I used that almost the entire time. It came in super handy. So I definitely recommend that. But yeah, then after that, it's just, once you get it level and kind of the way you want to look in, you just stomp. You just pick this thing up, drop it, do that a couple thousand times, and you're good to go. So that is this stage, phase, whatever of this project done. Hey everyone, look what I got. It's my new yard. This is supposedly the turf. So I think about the only thing I can do is roll it out, cut it open and roll it out, and we will see what we are working with. So that's pretty exciting. So the tools that I'm going to be using to cut the backing on this is basically just a regular old box cutter. And then I actually have this like carpet knife, which is extremely sharp. So I think what I'm going to do is actually use this for some of the big easy cuts, and then save the blade on this for anything that maybe is a little harder or more specific where I have to make curves or something like that. I think that carpet knife will work a lot better because it is so stinking sharp. But yeah, let's get started. All right, there it is. Isn't it beautiful? Our new black grass. Now, in all honesty, here is what it looks like. And it's harder to tell, but you can see part of the process is actually scraping it up and raking it. It's all very, very flat right now. So that's just going to be part of the process, but it looks really good. Looks really real. The blade length is 1.75 inches, so it's pretty tall. But yeah, it obviously looks very, very flat right now. But I have it upside down because I need to cut the bottom side, since that's where the backing is. So basically I'm gonna go measure outside to double check, but I need a 7-foot section perfectly. And I have that measured out to be about right here, I believe is about 7 feet. So I actually have a chalk marker, so I'm probably gonna use that to try and create a straight line across this. And then I will begin the process of cutting it. So let me go outside and double check, and then we'll come back in. All right, guys, there is the very rough look at what the yard is going to look like. We still have some work to do, obviously. I need to secure it to the ground. All these seams I need to make disappear, which could be a challenge. I know it's obviously possible. It's just going to take a lot of work to cut these and make sure that they all hide and get them to match up. Then I need to rake all of it. So start to get the blades to actually stand up. They're very much on their sides right now, folded over because they've been rolled up. So I just need to spend a lot of time raking them. And then we add the sand to it, which helps weight it down, helps soften it a little bit, and also helps those blades stay standing. So there's definitely a few corners where I'm going to need to do a little trimming and make sure everything is fine. We're going to need to add bark dust. I actually made the yard a little bit bigger than what we needed to for this. But there's some corners I need to trim to make rounded and look all pretty. And then obviously I have to do the cutout for the air conditioner. So there's a few little things, and the tree. A few little things to do. It'll definitely take some time. I think the spikes to hold this in the ground are on their way. today, so I might be able to do that. If anything, I can just start working on these edges and trying to get them nice and pretty. But yeah, so far so good. It looks really fake right now, I'll admit, but you can see once you start to stand it up, it definitely starts to look more real already. And then once all this other process kind of gets baked in, it should start to look really good. So I'm happy to get all of it cut, at least this far. It's in the backyard, that's important. Now I can sweep the garage and put the cars back in. So all right guys, here in the backyard, can I call it a yard now? And I'm about to secure this thing to the ground. And so what I got for that are these. These are basically like giant 6-inch staples. Okay, so I just got the border done, and it looks like I used half, maybe less than half, to do the border. So now what I'm going to do is probably do 2 every 3 feet or so down the whole yard, just to help keep all the middle and everything secure. So that is what I'm going to work on now. All right, now comes the fun part. Spreading the sand. So I'm going to use this fertilizer spreader, but I'm not going to use it to actually spin the stuff out. I'm just going to scoop it and sprinkle it. So this bag should cover basically from here forward. That should be how much I use. So it's as simple as setting it out and raking it up, raking into the grass. So I will put you guys on time lapse again. Alright guys, so this is actually where I'm going to end this video. This is kind of part 1 of the yard makeover. You guys can see I do have a yard. It actually rained a little bit, and so I can't work the rest of this sand in right now. You can see I did that first section down there and it looks really good, but I need to do the rest of this, but I need to wait for it to dry out. Otherwise it's just gonna kind of clump up and not get down into the fibers of the grass. So that is the end of this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope the lawn looks fairly good. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next one.